In the autumn of 1880, William James delivered a lecture at Harvard that generated more controversy than almost anything else he ever said. The lecture was called Great Men, Great Thoughts, and the Environment, and its central claim was straightforward and deliberately provocative. The key actors in historical change are exceptional individuals, not impersonal social forces. James was mounting a direct attack on the dominant intellectual position of his era. Herbert Spencer and the evolutionary sociologists argued that individuals were shaped and produced by their environment, that the appearance of greatness was simply the right person meeting the right historical conditions. Praise Napoleon if you like, Spencer's framework implied, but Napoleon without the chaos of the French Revolution, without the specific social and economic pressures of late 18th century Europe, would have been nothing. History makes its heroes. Heroes do not make history. James found this view intellectually dishonest and practically dangerous. It was dishonest, he thought, because it explained away exactly what needed to be explained. Yes, the environment selects which individuals succeed and which fail. Yes, a potential Einstein born into a society with no mathematics will not produce the theory of relativity. But the environment cannot produce the variation it selects from. The new idea, the decisive action, the creative leap, these come from specific individuals with specific mental characteristics that are not simply read off from their social conditions. Darwin himself had shown that variation in a population is real, is not entirely explainable by environment, and is the raw material upon which selection acts. James applied this logic to history. Social conditions select among individuals, but they do not generate the individuals they select. The practical danger of denying individual agency was equally serious to James. If history is purely the product of impersonal forces, then individual moral effort is ultimately irrelevant. If what happens is what was going to happen anyway, then courage, honesty, creative vision, and moral commitment are merely epiphenomena, decorative accompaniments to a process that does not need them. James could not accept this. He had fought too hard against his own depression to believe that individual effort was meaningless. He had seen, in his own life, that choosing to act differently actually changed what happened. A philosophy that denied this was false to experience. James was careful to distinguish his view from simple hero worship. He was not saying that great individuals are self-made, independent of their contexts. He was saying that the interaction between individual and environment is genuinely two-directional. The environment shapes individuals, but exceptional individuals also reshape their environments. History is not a stream flowing in a predetermined direction. It is a series of decision points at which the particular qualities of particular people made a real difference to which way things went. The criticism from his contemporaries was fierce and not without substance. Spencer's followers argued that James was romanticizing individual achievement and ignoring the structural forces, economic inequality, political power, cultural inertia, that constrain what any individual can accomplish. This is a legitimate point. James's account risks making history feel like a drama of exceptional individuals, while the vast majority of human beings are merely extras. Any honest theory of historical agency must grapple with the ways that most people's options are severely constrained by conditions they did not choose. James's response, implicit rather than fully developed, was that acknowledging structural constraints does not require denying individual agency, and that denying individual agency does not actually help anyone escape structural constraints. The person born into poverty still has to make choices. The choices they make, within whatever constraints they face, are real choices with real consequences. Denying this in the name of a theory of historical necessity helps no one. The debate James entered in 1880 has not ended. The tension between individual agency and structural determination runs through contemporary arguments about leadership, political change, inequality, and moral responsibility. James did not resolve it, but he insisted, with characteristic stubbornness, that the individual could not be dissolved into the structure, that something irreducible and causally significant is happening when a particular mind encounters a particular moment and does something that could not have been predicted from the environment alone. That insistence is still worth arguing about. Subscribe to The Psychology of William James to explore more of his timeless ideas.